Hello everyone. I just wanted to give a quick update on things and how things have been with me, and to let you know that no, I have not in any way departed from Christianity. In fact, the exact opposite. I have grown strong and become very learned in the Word. And it's been a rough time in doing that because there's a lot to learn. And I don't know everything, but the Lord's taught me a lot of things that I do know. And He's helped me to understand some very important things about what's going on right now and what we're seeing going on right now and why these things are happening. You know, things are not going to necessarily get better, but there will be a time where things will be um, really good coming up, but it will be an illusion, okay? And I'll have to go explain all that in next upcoming video. I'm getting a lot of stuff in regard to what is transpiring that is very important for us to know, because if we know what the plan of the Lord is, you know, everybody wants to know about the plan of the wicked people, the rich men of the world and all those things, but very few people are looking into what God's plan is in all this. And we got to remember that God is allowing all of these things, and that nothing that is happening is not without His will. Everything is according to His will. And we have, you know, a lot of people do not accept that. They believe that we can change things, or we can bring His kingdom, or nonsense like that. It's nothing like that at all. If we read His Word, we find out that the Lord is, every leader that's in place right now is as a result of the Lord, whether they're evil or good. And a lot of the things we really want to know right now is we're in a cesspool of lies. We are in a land of confusion. We are in a world that is revolving around sorcery and witchcraft, and that all the nations, you might remember in Revelation, that by her sorceries all nations shall be deceived. Now, sorcery, a lot of people know that word, the root word is pharmakeia, which is about pharmacy. Well, if you look at all these things that are going on with, the so-called virus and all like that, it's all wrapped up in sorcery and witchcraft. And because the people that run this world are wrapped up in witchcraft. Magic is what they uh, go for, what they, they're totally involved in it. And whether it be black or white magic, it doesn't matter. But the point being is that they're wrapped up in things that are against God, things that are, in not good, they're according to the world, and that's the thing. And what we want to do, and this is what I'm going to be bringing up and sharing in the next video or two or three or how many it takes, is to show that again, exactly what's going on, why it's going on, and how we can prevent from being swept away by the myriad of lies and deception that has already begun and is only going to increase. And this is that spirit of error. This is the spirit of Antichrist that we see going on. It is enveloped and taken hold of most of the modern day Christian church. It is epidemic. And it is exactly well, the Lord is allowing it because He is separating His sheep from the goats. He's separating His wheat from the tares. Okay? We're going to find that there are multitudes, as the scriptures say, many deceived, and the many, remember, they go into perdition. Okay? And He's not talking about the world in those verses. If you read the verses very carefully, you'll see that He's talking about His people. Okay? And because you think of this, the world is already deceived. The people in the world are already walking in darkness. They don't have the light. So how can he be talking about the world if they're already deceived? How can you deceive someone who's already deceived? That just doesn't make any sense. No, he's talking about his people. And the warnings that the Lord and the apostles and the prophets have given are to help us, to prevent us from falling away, from falling into a trap or a snare or a net that the world or evil people have conveniently set up to entrap us, to get us to turn away from the Lord. And if you notice, everything about what goes on in the world is, with the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, are all designed specifically to turn us, to cause us to turn away from God. Think about that. And that's what we battle all the time. And there are so many temptations out there. It's ridiculous. And but those things are, they're there because all of it is a test of our faith and our love toward God. And so we need those things in order to prove ourselves. If we didn't have those things, how is God going to know how much we love him, or how much faith we have in him? It just, there would be nothing to go by. How can you prove your love to somebody you love if you don't do something that's worthy of that love, that shows that love? You just don't stand there and say to somebody, "I love you," and not do anything, to prove that love. It has to have something behind it. And, that's why faith without works is dead. Because if you're not going to have faith without works. Anybody who can show me faith without works, I'm ready to hear it. Faith is not blind faith. It is not nothing faith. That's why James spoke about it, okay, in detail. But many people cast that aside, figuring, they think they have the faith, but it's really the faith of the world. It's not really the faith of God. And so as a result, they will end up in perdition. So I just wanted to do this video just to kind of catch up, just to kind of let, speak about what things are going to happen, and that I'm back on track. And not that I'm back on track, I've always been. Had a few, areas of dryness, which I think every believer goes through. But that's normal. That's par for the course. The wilderness, the desert, those are all par for the course. If you don't go through them, you're not going to grow. It's all there is to it. And many people, especially pastors, they have never been in the wilderness. They've never been in the desert. And they have the nerve, many of them have the nerve to be up there and say, speak to you as if they know what they're talking about. No, if you haven't walked the walk, and that doesn't mean go to a Bible college. Anybody, a moron can go to a Bible college and and maybe graduate, and does that make them a pastor? Does guy down the street who just decides to become a pastor, does that automatically make him a pastor because he goes to a Bible college? I hope not. But many of these pastors, they've never walked the walk, but they sure talk the talk, and they're deceivers because they don't, they have never done it themselves. And everything that I will teach and have taught is through experiences, through the things I've learned from what the Lord has put me through. So those are the things that matter. Anybody can read out of a Bible. Anybody can guess at what certain things say. But is that really what it says? And is it but from experiential knowledge, or is it just from your head knowledge? Okay. Many people, it's just head knowledge, especially pastors. Okay. And I will get on talking about pastors because the Lord is against his shepherds today. Very much against them. He's against the prophets that prophesy falsely in his name. And that means people who are teaching doctrines to others that are not true or that are lies. So, and that's the same thing, but or are misconstrued or twisted to make them sound like something other than what they are, to give like a pie in the sky type of idea of Christianity. Oh, it's so simple. You just believe. Okay, now, if it sounds too good to be true, It probably is. There's a lot more to it than that. Anyway, I'll get into that in upcoming videos. I just want to get this one started, just to kind of get the ball rolling again, because I don't really like being in front of camera, and I don't really like uh, doing all the work involved in this. I just don't. It's not my thing. I love speaking. I love teaching. I love helping people, but I don't like the technical aspect of it. So anyway, and I don't really have many people to help with that, so I'm kind of on my own on that. Anyway, hope this was a blessing in some way to you, and I'm hoping and praying that the next video, which is I'm working on right now, will be of an immense blessing to many. All right, have a blessed day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.